Greetings, my fellow connectors. Welcome back to the Musical Connections podcast, and we are here at the Cheiron Hotel foyer as MusicNL Week 2025 is in full swing. Well, I got a real treat for you. If you're familiar with the songs Let Go, Fearless, Dancing Where You Left Me Alone, Good Things Never Last, and other great songs that you may have heard from Newfoundland and Labrador, you may be familiar with this guy. He is a songwriter, a producer, and an engineer. Joining me right now in Coming Down Connector's Corner is Danieladams. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
I am fantastic. We've been wanting to do this for quite a while now.
We have, yeah. I remember, lined up.
I remember I bumped into you into Walmart, and we talked about this very
God,
thing.
that's right. Yes, my moonlighting day job.
Yes, none beats talking about setting up an interview at Walmart.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, there's no better venue.
For sure. Now, I've just mentioned those songs there, like Let Go from Rachel Cousins, Fearless from Kellie Loder. You also produced their album back in 2017 as well. So you produced some of Newfoundland and Labrador's finest pop and rock songs over the past 5 to 10 years, really. So for people who may not know much about Danieladams, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a songwriter, producer, engineer. Like you said, I've done a lot of work with Kellie Loder, Rachel Cousins, a lot of their bigger stuff that's happened, a lot of their pop-y stuff. The past 5-10 years has kind of been crazy. Once I graduated college, which is where I met Kellie, kind of just kept going, and I haven't stopped yet. So we'll see. The pandemic kind of put a damper on things. I moved to Toronto just before the pandemic. That was supposed to be like a long-term thing. Obviously, it was not, because it's not a great place to be when the world is ending.
No.
So I came back here and doing everything from home, but still like lots of international stuff and lots of Newfoundland pop stuff too.
No, for sure. And it's great to have, you're pretty much like the go-to producer for any people that want to pursue pop music or rock music as well. Because, again, I mentioned some people like Courtney Madison. She's got a real good sound going for her, especially with her debut single, Good Things Never Last. I believe David Shears did produce that himself, but you were engineering on that too,
That's
right?
Yeah. So all of her singles I've mixed thus far. And there is more coming, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Nice. And I believe she's got an EP coming out over the next few weeks or so by the time that this drops?
All mixed, yeah.
Awesome. So what are some of the other people that you worked with that many of us may not know about?
Well, like I mentioned before, I've done a lot of international stuff as well. So there's a future pop star in Sweden named Sanna Martinez. I've done some work with her. Great voice, great girl, really fun, upbeat pop stuff, which is just my bread and butter. There's also a lot of Toronto-based artists that I met when I was there. One of my friends, Jem, who goes by Jem, but it's J3M. But he's one of my closest friends now, and we've done a lot of work together, and there's more coming hopefully soon. One of his singles just came out, Love Addict, at the end of the summer there. Also a bit of work with R&B soul duo 1062, also based out of Toronto. Done a fair bit of work with them. Oh my God, what else have I done? A lot of remixes lately too. That's been really fun, trying to merge my remixing brand with my DaCoda project as well, which we'll talk about. Oh my God, without it right in front of me, it's so hard to think about.
No, absolutely.
I'm always thinking about like what is literally my current project right now.
No, for sure. I got it right in front of me here. We got Renee Smith. We got Saint Scarlet. You've worked on. You've also worked with Quinn, Cherry Wilder, Ash Malloy. I just mentioned. She's doing some great things in Ontario.
Off, good for her.
I think you did some work with Mallory Johnson on a movie that she worked on.
Yeah. So I think the movie took a really long time to come out because it was like 2021 we recorded that, and I just assumed nothing was ever going to happen with it. and then I saw her post about it it feels like the other day, but it was a couple months ago now. I was like, oh, I guess this is out now. But yeah, I produced and mixed 3 songs for her for that. That was really cool. And yeah, Quinn, she's a New Brunswick-based electronic artist. She is so lovely. She's really doing more of a self-produced thing right now, which is great because we need more female producers and more non-male artists to be producing it in general. So it's really cool to see that. Cherry Wilder as well is a Swedish drag queen that I've been working with a bit through a co-writer that I know in Sweden. Love the song that we did together. It's probably one of my favorite things I've done. Probably the most Max Martin thing I've done, which is lovely.
No, for sure. And you mentioned Max Martin there. Like when it comes to music in the world, he's the biggest hit maker of the 21st century. Like 88 number ones on the Billboard Hot 100 from all the artists that he's worked with, from like Celine Dion to Britney Spears to the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC to Kelly Clarkson, Lady Gaga. I think he may have worked with Lady Gaga, maybe on a song or two.
One single time. I am such a music credits nerd.
As,
There is one single time he worked with Lady Gaga, but yes, he has.
I mean, as am I too. I love small facts. Taylor Swift is a big one.
Yep.
You also
just
have
did the whole last album that just came out.
The Life of a Showgirl.
Yep.
The Weeknd with one of the biggest singles in the past like 10 or 15 years, Blinding
almost.
Lights.
Blinding Lights was huge, yeah.
Oh yeah, and that synth riff really inspired by Young Turks, which is amazing.
So good.
And you really take a lot of inspiration from him. Do you take a lot of inspiration from all those Swedish pop producers, like especially the Shellback and Ilya and Dennis Pop? Does that really, make up a lot of the beats that you make?
God, definitely, yeah. The way I grew up listening to music was a lot of like dance music compilations, so kind of led me to a lot of Europop, Eurodance areas. So like Ace of Base or like E-Type or Dr. Alban. And then a little bit later on, you've got like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Jessica Fulker, all the Cheiron crew, early Dennis Pop, Max Martin stuff. And according to my parents, I actually taught myself how to read from reading the credits of those compilations. So Max Martin was always a name I'd heard of. And then once I got old enough to like get on the computer and do my own internet research and stuff, I figured out who he was and what he did, and I was like, that's what I want to do. There's very few things I'm a fanboy of, but I would say Max Martin is one of them.
No, for sure. When it comes to most impactful like people in the music industry, Max Martin is definitely up there, or if not at the top of that list.
He is the number 2 songwriter of all time according to Billboard, because the only person he's ahead of who's ahead of him is Lennon and McCartney, I think.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's from like 1995 until now, and he's still going
He's still
strong.
doing it. He's got his last number 1 has been number 1 for 5 weeks now. So
yeah. What was it? The Fate of Ophelia from Taylor Swift.
Yep. Yeah.
That is pretty nuts. Ariana Grande also mentioned too that they worked together on a couple of albums of hers.
Yeah.
And she's doing great things with Wicked, and also Ariana Grande is someone that Greg Wells has worked with as well.
Also true. Yep.
So what got you into music production in the first place? Because I know you were really inspired by all the Max Martin stuff that you had back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and he really dominated that. And then once he left Cheiron and started his own music studio, he really, started, established himself as one of the biggest producers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into music production in the first place?
That's a good question. I think I was always kind of fascinated by DJing without really realizing what DJing was. I just thought it was cool that like you weren't performing, but you were making music somehow. This is me as a child trying to interpret what DJing was. When I was always very, analytical about the way I listened to music. Like always like, oh, these 2 songs are in the same key, or like, oh, I love this drum beat. Like even as a kid, and my parents didn't know what the hell to do with any of that. So they went to my music teacher and they were like, we're gonna buy him a keyboard, and she was like, yes, you should buy him a keyboard. He needs something to do with music. So it was like one of these light up keyboards where the keyboard would teach you songs. All the keys would light up or whatever. And it had a function where you could like record a song and then have it teach you the song, which doesn't really make much sense in retrospect. But basically, if you knew what you were doing, you could turn it into like a 3-track recorder. So that's what I did. I started making beats, heavy on the air quotes. It was around 2010 when I started doing that. So it was very like Rihanna, Stargate type beats, like very hip-hoppy drums, but like all these like Eurodance chords. And then it kind of just spiraled from there. I got an iPhone for Christmas shortly after that, and I had an app that was kind of like GarageBand on the iPhone before GarageBand was on the iPhone, and was just obsessed with like I'm gonna be the next Dr. Luke. I'm gonna make this crazy Katy Perry beat. And then I just kept kind of going from there. I also had this weird side career as a YouTube DJ. I made a lot of mashups on YouTube. I checked on it last night. I think I'm at like almost 60,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Like 8 million views, something like that.
That's crazy.
But like my name wasn't really on it, and it was just like mashups. So it wasn't really marketable for me as like a brand, I guess. But it was really fun. I made a lot of really cool connections. Like I got a lot of attention from like the artists that I was mashing up, like Adam Lambert and like Nile Rodgers.
Wow.
And Savin Kotecha, who did a lot of the One Direction stuff and also works with Max a lot. A bunch of random artists. It was very, very fun. I met Joel Stufer from Dragonette a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
And they had actually like tweeted out one of my mashups at one point or something like that. Or this was like early Twitter. It was like 2011. I like tweeted at them and they mentioned me back or something like that. And I was like, Joel, look, this happened.
That's
Do you
wonderful.
remember this? So yeah, all that kind of coalesced. I ended up going to college. I did the CNAs. At the time, it was called Music Industry Performance and Business. Now it's called Applied Music, I think. It was the first year. It was in St. John's, and that was where I met Kellie Loder. And before I went to college, I didn't know anybody locally. I never left the house. I still don't really leave the house. But back then, I really didn't. I didn't even know there was a local music scene at all, because everything I did was online. So when I met Kellie, I started meeting like a lot of local people and started making like real music, quote unquote. I did a little bit of work with Claire Follett really early on, because her mom was my music and English teacher in high school. No way. I was one of the first people to hear Neck Deep. Thank you very much.
Small world.
But yeah, I did like a remix of that and a couple of her other songs before she released anything. And then I just spiraled from there, did more work with Kellie, met more people, did more work, repeat.
No, for sure. And you did work on The Benefit of the Doubt, which was Kellie's 2017 record.
Yes.
I believe you also worked on some tracks on Transitions as well, I would think.
Yes, yeah. Transitions was a bit more spread out for me because they did a lot of the album with Corey Tetford. My production style really just didn't fit what they were going for that record. But I did do When It Comes to You, which was the single, which was like a CBC #1 or whatever, which is bonkers.
Let's go, Kellie.
Let's go, Kellie. I think they got like a SOCAN #1 plaque for that or something. I was at their place the other day and I think I saw it. I don't remember. There's a lot of plaques there.
Oh, yeah. I think Mick Davis and Thin Love are the only other ones from this province, I would think, that got that plaque.
Yes, they got one not that long ago. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
They got it at the ECMAs this year, too.
Oh, Kellie got theirs at the ECMAs the year before that, I think.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, they gave it to them at the ECMAs. That's right, yeah.
That's wicked.
But yeah, the Transitions album I did When It Comes to You. I did a little bit of work on Please Make Up Your Mind and like a little bit of recording here and there. But mostly that was Kellie and Corey. And they killed it, yeah.
Yeah, and Nate Kelly's working on someone out in British Columbia for the next one?
Yeah. I think they posted that they're working with Ryan Worsley, who I know from doing a lot of the band Mono Whales, which is like an Ontario-based band that my publisher was working with. They're broken up now, but their work sounded really solid, so I'm really excited to see what he and Kellie do.
That's awesome. Now, of course, I think really one of your first big breakthrough tracks was working on Rachel Cousins' Let Go.
That is correct.
And Let Go was really the first step where I really saw Rachel as like, oh my God, her voice fits in so well with pop music. Mm-hmm. But what people really don't talk about is the production that you put on that too. And
thank you.
I don't think you co-wrote that, did you?
I did. Yeah, no, I was, because it started, I came up with the Na 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 thing. It was one of my last days in college. I was walking from my car. I have the voice memo of it somewhere. God only knows where. And a couple days later, MusicNL was doing the Bell Media Songwriting Challenge, what they did for a couple of years. So that was 2017. Me and Carly Pilgrim, Rachel Cousins, and Andrew Boyd were all in a room, and I brought up that Na 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 idea with the chord progression, and it all went from there. And then nothing really happened for a while because Rachel had just released like a super folk rock record produced by Chris LeDrew. So very different from Let Go. And actually, tying back to Claire Follett again, her album release show for Neck Deep, Rachel was there, and I just kind of walked up to her and I was like, can we release this? Like, I don't know how. Like, should it feature me because it's too pop? Do you want to release it yourself? I don't know, but this has to come out. And she was like, yeah, it has to come out. And then we recorded it. It took forever because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And yeah, then it came out in February 2018. And that has led me to a lot of weird places, that song.
Yeah, that's really the start of your journey as one of Newfoundland Labrador's premier producers and engineers. Because right after that, you worked on Fearless, which ended up getting featured in I think it was a Hallmark movie.
It was an IMAX
IMAX movie.
IMAX trailer. It wasn't in the movie. Not for lack of trying. There's a long story there.
But it's also been featured on Janeway telethons as well as inspirational song, and also on commercials here in town too.
Yeah.
What was it like, working on Kellie Loder's "Fearless"?
So that was a song that I didn't want to do.
Really?
So at that point, Kellie was living in Toronto, and we had met a songwriter producer, and we'd worked with them. And he had done a lot of film and TV stuff, and Kellie had gotten this opportunity to write a song for a film trailer because they wanted another song, but the artist wanted like $300,000 or something for it.
Oh my God.
And Kellie was just like, we can do that. And Kellie texted me and was just like, should we do this? And I'm like, you can get this other guy who gets loads of film and TV things. Just go with him. And Kellie was like, no, are you crazy? So then like a couple days later, we got on a video call and wrote it in like an hour. It was so fast. We wrote it so fast. The production changed a little bit in the next couple days, but then it all happened so fast. So I think it was like the very beginning of November we wrote it, 2018. And then they needed it for the trailer like a week later, so I finished it as close as I could. But then even though it was a little bit more pop than Kellie was doing at the time, we couldn't pass up the opportunity to like release it and kind of like piggyback off the success of the trailer. Mm-hmm. So I mixed it, which was one of my first times ever mixing something. It was really stressful. We also did a bunch of edits to try to get it into the movie, which I spent a lot of time doing. Didn't end up being in the movie, unfortunately, but we're super grateful for the trailer, of course. And yeah, then it came out in January, and it was just like immediately huge, and it was bonkers. Bonkers. I don't know what else to say, really.
No, but like it was really one of Kellie's first breakthrough tracks before they went on Canada's Got Talent. Because you look at Fearless too, it's been featured in Janeway telethons in the past as well, and now it's one of their signature tunes whenever they play live. And look at the momentum that they have, and it all started because Kellie took that risk in having you work on that song that really now is pretty much one of your signature tracks you've produced and one of Kellie's best tracks.
Exactly, yeah. It ended up being really significant for the both of us, and yeah, they rub it in every time we talk about it. I didn't want to do it at first, but it was a very humble I didn't want to do it because they had access to this really successful film and TV producer. Like it would have made a lot more sense for Kellie to go to that person, but they chose me, and we made Fearless.
And that was the risk that you took, and it paid off.
Yeah, it definitely paid off. It was a lot. It was a very stressful time. Probably the most stressed I've ever been, but it was worth it. I'd do it again.
Now, when it comes to making music, especially, making the beats that you have for your artists that you work with, what goes into it that people may not know about?
That's a good question. A lot of obsession, I guess. Like, Fearless... The first verse of that had like 30 different versions. I was trying to do like a thing with like 808 drums, and then I did the thing with the guitars. Also, none of the guitars on that song are real.
Really?
They're all VST instruments.
Oh my God.
Like Kellie is an excellent guitar player. None of the guitars on that song are real. They're all native instruments, electric sunburst guitars.
No way.
There's just like a million of them layered together, so it sounds a bit better. But if you listen to them individually, they're like, oh, this isn't real. This is terrible.
Oh my God.
But yeah, a lot of obsession. Like I stayed up until like 2 a.m. last night working on the drums for this like R&B pop song that I'm doing with an artist in Montreal, just because I need them to bounce in the right way.
Oh yes.
Like trying to pick the right sounds, trying to when I'm songwriting as well. It's very obsessive. Like take for example, "Dancing Where You Left Me Alone," the single that I just released with Violet. They had that mostly written, and then I came in and rewrote most of the lyrics myself.
Okay.
Which is really weird for me. I don't consider myself a lyric writer at all, but I knew I wanted them. I wanted it. It was such a catchy melody that I really wanted the words to be as catchy as possible as well. Mm-hmm. So I went in with a fine-tooth comb and rewrote most of the lyrics, and then came back with them and tweaked it as well to make it more them and not so me, robotic and formulaic. But yeah, a lot of work went into those words and like making sure all the alliteration is in the right places, making sure the stresses are on the right syllables, for like the maximum possible catchiness. That's kind of what a lot of my goal is for a song, is just maximum possible catchiness, for better or for worse. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah.
But that's probably what makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd, because when it comes to, crafting the perfect song, like, you want to make sure the lyrics work well, you want to make sure all the music is cohesive. But at the end of the day, when it comes to, like, overall general public, their attention spans are short, and they want something that's an earworm, that's catchy. And I think you really do that better than anybody here in the province.
Oh, thank you very much. That's kind of what I've learned over the years is my like kind of special skill. Everybody has their niche, and mine is just like catchiness and like clear coat polish on top of whatever song it is. And some people's songs aren't meant for that, and I've tried to force it, and it doesn't work. It's all about finding the right relationship with the artists. Like if I had produced Kelly's Transitions album, it would not have been nearly as good because it didn't need super catchy, polished production. That's not what it needed.
Yeah, no, they were planning to go more adult contemporary with it anyway.
Exactly, yeah. It wouldn't have made sense for me to do that a whole record. The single, it made sense, but yeah, it's kind of my special skill. I don't know really where that comes from. I think I just listen to way too much catchy music.
Listen to a lot of pop music.
A lot of pop music. And I say that I listen to a lot of pop music, which is true, but really my favorite kind of music is just catchy music. So like obviously the main intent of most pop music is to be catchy. So that leads me to listening to a lot of pop music, but I'll listen to mostly any genre as long as it's catchy.
Yeah, for sure. And then you can take some of the lessons that you learned from those other genres and put it into some of your pop compositions too.
Exactly, yeah. Like I listen to a lot of like psych rock, like MGMT, Tame Impala. I listen to a fair bit of like older Coldplay stuff. They're like deep cuts. The Ting Tings. Do you remember the Ting Tings?
That's not my name.
They are honestly a great band. Like they are so underappreciated. All of their albums are really great. They just came out with like a really like soft, like almost like Fleetwood Mackie record.
Okay.
Really, really good. Very underrated band. Everybody talks about That's Not My Name, and I guess Shut Up and Let Me Go to a lesser extent.
Yeah, that one too.
They're honestly a great band. Like fun, funk rock, catchy, of course. Yeah, I don't just listen to straight down the middle pop. Like a lot of like more experimental stuff too, like Sophie. And like A.G. Cook and Danielle Harl, the PC music crowd, which led me. I was like a very early adopter of Charlie XCX. I was a fan before they were huge. I've been following her career since like 2013. So when Brat happened, that was really exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like I think when it comes for Charlie XCX as well, we're gonna stick with her for just a second. She was at it for 10 years before she really had like her breakthrough album with Brat.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that like when it comes to success in the music industry too, this is a whole other conversation for another time, but just making a point here. A lot of the big artists now, like your Sabrina Carpenters and your Chapel Roans, they started at like the smallest that they possibly can get. Like overnight success, as much as, we have like overnight success. Oh, Sabrina Carpenter was successful overnight. Yeah. She had like 6 or 7 albums before she went.
She has released a lot of albums. Like that's another one I've been following since like 2018. She had a song called "Bad Time" off one of her records that was honestly really, really good. Yeah, it's not something that happens overnight, and I guess that kind of applies to me too. Like, I was making weird EDM records in my bedroom on my phone for like 7 years before I had anything that could be considered successful.
Yes, absolutely. Before you had Let Go and Fearless.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, of course, you're doing this brand new remix kind of, DJing project called DaCoda.
That is correct.
And one of your first kind of mixes was on with Violet, the Weekend remix.
Yep.
And then also you recently just worked on Dancing Where You Left Me Alone.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about why you decided to go with this new DaCoda project.
Well, as a songwriter with a publisher, I write a lot of music. And as any songwriter will tell you, like 1% of your songs get released. So I have dozens and dozens of good songs and really good songs kind of sitting around in a hard drive just waiting to be released. Mm-hmm. And, we've pitched a lot of them to a lot of artists, and some of them have been around for years, and they're just not clicking with the right artist. Maybe we just haven't found the right artist. Maybe it's just the song.
Yeah.
But some of them I love so much, and they feel really like me, that I was just like, I could release it, I guess. Like, find a vocalist, and just kind of put them out and see what happens. I don't see it kind of as like I'm going to be a big, huge artist type thing. It's more so just like, I really want to get these songs out, and I want people to hear them, and it can be good marketing for myself as a musician. And a lot of the stuff that I've released hasn't really shown, stuff that I've released with myself as producer. Hasn't really shown how like crazy pop I like to be sometimes. So like the songs that I'm going to release under the DaCoda project are going to be like full capital letters, pop music, big, catchy, dancey, fun, mindless. Like you're not going to get any deep lyrics. You're just going to have fun.
Like catchy hooks, simple lyrics, choruses, and big bridge and whatnot.
I want you to move and I want you to sing along, and that's it.
For sure. And when it comes to singing and dancing, Dancing Where You Left Me Alone is the most recent song you put out with the group with Violet,
That's
Pete,
correct.
Sarah, Hunter, Madden, and Spence.
Yep.
And Matt Cadigan.
And Matt Cadigan.
I said Hunter. I was going to go Hunter, Mad, and Spence, but I went with Hunter Madden. But anyways.
Close.
Dancing Where You Left Me Alone, you said earlier that when you went to go record the song with the guys, you rewrote a lot of the lyrics yourself. When it comes to that bridge, KISSING, stop CALLING, was that your idea or was that theirs?
I think they had the KIS. They had the rhythm, the idea of doing like a chant thing or like a sexy whisper thing. I think I did the someone else is up on me, stop CALLING. I think I came up with that, but they take the credit for like most of that. I really just came in and like sprinkled catchy lyrics on it. That they had the form and the melody down. They really nailed the composition of that one. But yeah, I think the second part of that lyric was me. Question mark. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, guys.
I'll confirm that with Pete and Spence or Sarah next time I get them on here. But of course, it's a very catchy tune. They just released a music video for that.
Yep.
Any other new stuff you're working on that we should know about? Not just outside the province, but also here in the province.
Yeah, of course. Well, With Violet is doing an EP. I think they've announced that. I'm doing their whole EP, which is done now. Kind of, almost. My part is done. So that is coming at some point in the future. Very excited for people to hear that. The second single is, I didn't co-write it. I wish I did. It sounds amazing. I won't spoil anything else. What else have I got on the go? I just had a song come out in Japan. That was on a #1 album in Japan, which is now certified gold.
Wow.
It sold 100,000 physical copies in Japan. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Taichi. So that's absolutely crazy. Never thought that would have happened. I didn't write it in Japanese, in case anybody's wondering. I don't have a clue. I can barely even speak English. What else? There's a... I don't know if this has been announced yet. There's a drag cabaret, queer Arabian Nights musical show. I'm producing, I guess, the soundtrack for, or an album based on the show.
Oh, cool.
So that's really exciting. I won't go into detail because I don't know how much has been announced.
No, absolutely.
But that's really exciting. Very different for me. I mentioned a little while ago. There's an R&B pop artist named Shell, who I wrote the Japanese song with, actually. She has released some music, but we've got a lot of music cooking up as well. I was working on one last night. I won't tease it yet, but it's also very good.
No.
And I'm working on DaCoda stuff. I think I want to put out a single by the end of the year, just kind of test the waters. I'm not going to put any marketing into it. Just kind of like, here's a song. What do you think? Do you hate it? If you hate it, please tell me. I won't release anything else. Just kind of test the waters, see what people think. And then if that goes well, I've got something I think could be a bigger hit in my back pocket to kind of piggyback off that. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of co-writing, a lot of international stuff. Yeah, always doing something.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We're going to get to one of your songs that you worked on in just a moment. But for people who want to find out more about Daniel Adams and your DaCoda project and what you got coming up in the works, where can they go when it comes to, say, do you have a website or is it mainly just social media that we can reach you on?
I do have a website, but you can kind of reach me on Instagram is what I end up using the most. But Daniel Adams Songs, so there's two S's right next to each other, Daniel Adams Songs is my username pretty much everywhere. And I've linked the DaCoda project there as well, so you can find out more about that there, especially soon when more stuff is hopefully coming out. But yeah, everywhere you can find me, Daniel Adams Songs, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter I don't use anymore. Bye, Elon Musk.
You've X'd that pretty much.
I've X'd Twitter.
Get it? Get it?
Unfortunately, it sucks. And I spent so much time on Twitter as a kid. Oh my God. So sad. But yeah, Daniel Adams songs, you can find me pretty much anywhere. And I would love to hear from you.
Absolutely, and we love to hear some more great music from you. And again, when it comes to the production side of music, you're pretty much one of the leaders in that front right now. You're part of a great group of music producers that are really doing some great work here in the province. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you got in 2026. Daniel, thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much, Zach.